Adaobi was born on a humid Sunday morning in a rural town in eastern Nigeria. The clouds had gathered but held back their tears. It was as if even the sky knew what awaited her. Her mother, Chinyere, labored for hours. When the cry of a baby girl finally pierced the walls of the mud-brick house, there was no celebration. No ululations. No palm wine. Just silence. Her father, Nnna, stood outside under the mango tree, chewing a stick of bitter cola. When the midwife came to announce the birth, he frowned. "Another girl?" he muttered, walking away. From that moment, Adaobi was marked. She grew up in a house full of noise, but none directed at her. Her older siblings, 3 boys, were praised loudly, fed generously, and hugged with pride. She, on the other hand, was a whisper in the corner, unnoticed, unwanted. Her mother tried, in soft gestures and stolen moments, to show love. But even Chinyere was afraid of the stone-faced man she married. Nnna ruled the house like a king, and in his eyes, Adaobi was a blemish on his manhood, a reminder that his last attempt to produce a legacy had failed. He refused to call her by name. "She," he would say. "That one. The extra mouth. The mistake." When Adaobi turned 6, she brought home a certificate for coming first in her class. Her eyes sparkled as she offered it to her father. He looked at the paper once. "Is that supposed to make me happy? Go and learn how to cook or clean something. Book won't find you a husband." She learned not to bring home certificates after that. At age 11, Adaobi began to understand the language of silence. When her father came home from the farm, she vanished. When visitors came, she stayed in the back, cooking and serving, never speaking unless spoken to. Even in school, she shrank. But there was a fire inside her that never died. A hunger to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be loved. It flickered in her when she read books under her blanket late into the night. It burned brighter when she stood before her classmates during debates, and they clapped for her. One day she was selected to represent her school in a national spelling competition in Abuja. She brought the letter home, hopeful. Her father didn't even read it. "Are you a boy? Will they call me and say I have a daughter who built a house? You want to disgrace me by traveling around like a prostitute?" her mother begged. "Nnna, please, let her go. The principal says she's brilliant." He raised a hand, and the silence that followed was louder than a slap. That night, Adaobi lay on her mat, staring at the zinc roof. The tears rolled slowly, not because she couldn't go, but because she realized she would never be enough for him. At 17, Adaobi passed her WAEC with distinction. Full A's. Her principal called her the pride of the community. She applied to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and got in to study medicine. Her father scoffed. "So you want to waste my money and come back with a big head over my dead body." He refused to pay her fees. That was the first time Adaobi spoke back. "Then I'll find another way." She left home with a small bag and a borrowed 2,000 Naira from a kind teacher. She lived in a hostel room with 4 other girls and did laundry for people to feed herself. She read by candlelight, studied during the day, and volunteered at clinics on weekends. When neighbors mentioned her name, "Your daughter is doing well, oh," he would shrug. "She is not my daughter. My sons are here. Let her be flying like a bird. One day she'll fall. Years passed. She became known as the girl who never complained, the girl who worked twice as hard, who smiled even when her eyes looked tired. Back home, Nnna never asked after her. At 25, Adaobi became a doctor. She was offered a residency in Lagos. She walked into her first hospital job wearing second-hand shoes but with a fire in her belly. Patients loved her. Colleagues respected her. She rented her first apartment, bought her mother a phone, and sent money back home, even though she never received a call in return. One evening, she received a call from the village. Her father had collapsed. Stroke. Half his body was paralyzed. They couldn't afford the hospital bills. She took a deep breath. Then she paid. She arranged for his transport to a better facility. She spoke to the doctors. She stayed 2 nights in the hospital, watching the man who had never once told her she mattered sleep helplessly in a bed she paid for. She held his hand. "I'm not here because you loved me," she said. "I'm here because I learned to love myself, even when you didn't." When he woke, he looked at her, weak, broken, barely able to speak. His lips moved. No sound came. She leaned closer. He mouthed, "Adaobi," the first time he ever said her name. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I forgive you," she whispered, "but I will never forget." She left his room that night with a heart both heavier and lighter than before. Years later, people would ask Adaobi how she became so strong. She would smile softly and say, "I was raised in silence. It taught me to listen to myself. I was fed rejection. It made me hungry for more. I was unloved. So I learned to love the broken parts of myself." She built a clinic in her village and named it the Chinyer Center, after her mother, not her father, never her father. When he died, she paid for the funeral. She stood at the back during the ceremony, wearing black. She didn't cry. She had shed enough tears in her life.